Hello, welcome to all of you in this SN EduTech YouTube channel. Hello friends, myself Subhash Nagarse from Sri Digambar Jain Gurukul High School, Solapur. I shall welcome to all of you in this 9th Mathematics Part 2, that is Geometry. The topic is Coordinate Geometry. Friends, you might have learned in the previous standards the number line x-axis, y-axis. Today we will discuss with the following subtopics of this chapter, that is axis, origin and quadrants, the coordinates of the point in a plane, the coordinates of points on the axis to plot the points of given coordinates. So friends, let us start with the coordinate geometry. Friends, axis, origin and quadrants. The coordinate plane is a two-dimensional surface where we can plot points, lines, geometric shapes and curves. The coordinate plane is also called as Cartesian plane. It was invented by the French mathematician René Descartes in the 17th century. So you can see how the x and y axis are plotted on the graph paper. Friends, the horizontal scale in this graph shown as x, that is x-axis, like a number line. The values increase and are positive as you move from this right to the 0. The values are negative and decreases as you move to the left from 0. The vertical scale, this one y written as, is called as y-axis. The values on the axis are positive and increase as you go up from the 0. As we move down from 0, the values are negative and decreasing. The point where these two axes meet is called as the origin, represented by ordered pair 0, 0. All the distances along x and y axis are measured from the origin. Here you could see, due to the x and y axis, the given plane get divided into 4 parts. Friends, the two axes divide this coordinate plane into 4 areas, each are calling as a quadrants. The top right area, this one, is the first quadrant where both x and y values are positive. As we go around the anti-clockwise direction, the top left area, this one, is called as second quadrant where the x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is positive. Below the second quadrant is the third quadrant, you can see here, which has both x and y coordinates negative, or x and y values are negative. Below the first quadrant there is a fourth quadrant where x is positive and y is negative. Now the coordinates of point in a plane. Friends, we will see now that the point P here in the plane determined by the x and y axis. Its position can be determined by its distance from the two axes. To find these distances, we draw PM, this one, PM perpendicular to the x-axis and PN perpendicular to the y-axis. Coordinates of the point M on the x-axis is 2 and coordinates of the point N on the y-axis is 3. Therefore, x coordinate of point P is 2 and y coordinate is 3. The convention for describing the position of a point is to mention x coordinate first. According to this convention, order of these coordinates of the point P is decided as 2 and 3. So the position of the point P in brief is described by a pair into bracket 2 and 3. Similarly, the coordinate of point Q, here you can see from Q, QS is perpendicular drawn on the x-axis and QR is drawn on the y-axis. So the points or the foot on the x-axis from this QS is -3 and on the y-axis it is R, which is indicating 2. So the coordinates of the point Q will be now minus 3 and 2. Since we are going to write the x coordinate first, which is minus 3, then y coordinate, that is 2. Now coordinates of points on the axis. Friends, here you can see the points. The x coordinate of the point M here is the distance from the y-axis. The distance of point M from the x-axis is 0. Hence, the y-coordinate of M is 0. Thus, the coordinates of point M on the x-axis is 3, 0. The y-coordinates of the point N here, you can see on the y-axis, is 4 units from the x-axis because N is at a distance of 4. Its x-coordinate is 0 because its distance from the y-axis is 0. Hence, the coordinate of point N is 0 and 4. Now, the origin O is on x-axis as well as on y-axis. Hence, the distance from the x-axis and y-axis is 0. Therefore, the coordinates of point O are 0 and 0. Now, to plot the points of a given coordinates. Suppose we have to plot the point P and Q, where the coordinate of P are 4, 3 and Q is minus 2, 2. So friends, you can see here that the steps for how to plot these points. Draw x-axis and y-axis in the plane. It can be seen here, x and y-axis. To find the point P, 4, 3, draw a line parallel to the y-axis. This you can see, parallel to the y-axis in the first quadrant, which represents the number 4. Therefore, the point on the y-axis which represents the number 3, draw a line parallel to the x-axis, this one. So, this 4 and 3 are meeting at a point P. The intersecting point is P. The point of intersection of these two lines parallel to the y-axis and x-axis respectively is P4, 3, in which the quadrant does this point lie, means it is lying in the first quadrant, since both 4 and 3 are 5. In the same way, we can plot the point Q minus 2, 2. Here x coordinate minus 2 and y coordinate is 2. So we can draw a line parallel to y-axis from minus 2 and parallel to x-axis from 2. These two lines are meeting at the point Q, which have the coordinate minus 2 and 2. So this is lying in the second quadrant. Using, we can plot another points also, just like R minus 3 minus 4, which is lying in the fourth quadrant. S 3 minus 1, which is lying in the fourth quadrant. So these 2 points you try at the home. Friends, you should remember that the y coordinate of every point on the x-axis is always 0. The y coordinate of every point on the x-axis is 0. On the contrary, the x coordinate of every point on the y-axis is 0. And the coordinates of the origin are always 0, 0. These 3 are the important points you should remember always. So friends, now we'll start with the practice set 7.1. State in which quadrant or on which axis do the following points lie. These are some 12 points. Where does this lie? We'll prepare a table that will become easy. Here you could see a table is formed. First point is A minus 3, 2. Means x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is positive. So it is lying in the second quadrant. Point B minus 2, minus 2. Both the coordinates are negative, means it is lying in the third quadrant. K 3.5 and 1.5. Both are positive. Therefore, it is lying in the first quadrant. Fourth one, D 2, 10. Both are positive, lying in the first quadrant. E 37 and 35. Both coordinates are positive, lying in the first quadrant. F 15 and minus 18. X coordinate is positive, y coordinate is negative. So it is lying in the fourth quadrant. G 3 minus 7. X coordinate is positive and y coordinate is negative. Therefore it is lying in the fourth quadrant. Here H 0 minus 5. Here x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is negative. And certainly this point is lying on the y-axis. Next, M12 0, x coordinate is positive and y coordinate is 0. Therefore, it is lying on the x-axis. N09, x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is positive, it is lying on the y-axis. P0 and 2.5, x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is positive, it is lying on the y-axis. Q -7 -3. Friends, you could see here this point Q has both x and y coordinates negative, so it is lying in the third quadrant. So I think you understood this one. Let us start the next problem, that is, in which quadrant are the following points lie? Whose both coordinates are positive. If the both coordinates are positive, then that is lying in the first quadrant. Whose both coordinates are negative, then it is lying in the third quadrant. Whose x coordinate is positive and the y coordinate is negative, it is lying in the fourth quadrant. Whose x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is positive, is lying in the second quadrant. So we'll see the problem number 3. Draw the coordinate system on the plane and plot these points. Here some 7 points are given: L, M, N, P, Q, S and T. We'll plot these and the graphical nature will be looking like this. Here L has x coordinate negative and y coordinate positive. Certainly it is lying in the second quadrant. You can see here. From here L, perpendicular is drawn on the x-axis and parallel to y-axis as well as 1 to the x-axis. So these intersecting points gives you -2 and 4 for L. It is lying in the second quadrant. M5, 6, which is lying in the first quadrant, both are positive. From this 5 you can draw parallel to the y-axis, as well as from here, that is 6, we will draw parallel into the x-axis. So intersecting point gives you the point M. Similarly, N -3 and 4, x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is also negative, -3 -4. So it is lying in the third quadrant. It is shown here. Similarly, you can plot the other points just like P2 and -3. X coordinate is positive, y coordinate is negative, it is lying in the fourth quadrant. You can see here it is plotted. Then Q6 -5, x coordinate is positive and y coordinate is negative, means it is also lying in the fourth quadrant. You can see here Q6 -5. S70, x coordinate is positive whereas y coordinate is 0, means it is lying on the x axis. It is shown here S70. Then T05, where x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is -5, so it is lying on the y axis. You can see here it is plotted here. So friends, I think you got how to plot the points. Practice similar. Take another points and try to plot them on the graph paper. Friends, what we have been discussed today in this topic is area, axis, origin and quadrant, the coordinates of points on the plane, coordinates of points on the axis, and to plot the point of given coordinate system, and some problems from the practice set 7.1. Friends, will you try these problems? Write the coordinates of point E, F, G, T in the given figure. You can see E, F, G and T. Write the coordinates of those points. It's easy. In which quadrant or on which axis are the points below lies? A 5 7, B 6 -6 4, C 4 -7, D -8 -9, P -3 0, Q 0 and 8. Try. The next problem, in which quadrants or on which axis are the points given below lie? First is 5 3, second is -2 4, third is 2 -5 0 and 4, fifth point is -3 0, sixth is -2 2.5, seventh is 5 3.5, eighth is -3.5 and 1.5, ninth is 0 -4 and 10th is 2 -4. Plot the x and y axis on the graph paper and plot the graph also. You can try for that, rather than saying only in which quadrant these points are lying on the x axis, y axis or in any quadrant. Try to plot these points also. So friends, you should not forget that math teaches us multiple problems solving abilities. Math teaches us multiple problem solving abilities like equations, computations, or algorithms, which help us further in multiple aspects of our life. So very nice wording. So friends, with these words I would like to say thank you. We'll meet in the next video. Till that, bye.